Have you ever wondered what lurks in the deep blue sea?
Have you heard the siren song? Do you care to sing along?
Do you think you're afraid of the ocean for a reason?
And have you ever wondered where that great big shark at the deep end of the pool goes at night? Welcome everyone back to the Mystery Box. Last episode we've talked about what goes on beneath the sky, what goes on in space. Are there creatures that may or may not exist out there? But today we're gonna go a little close to home with none other than the deep blue sea. So what really is under these waves?
Lot. I mean, even the whole nature documentary thing aside, when it comes to the whole mystery aspect of the deep blue sea, there's so many creatures you can think of. Like, Cthulhu, if you guys have heard of him.
Shh, don't say his name.
Oh, of course, our great ancient one. How can you not know about
pretty much,
him?
Well, not everyone's heard about them, but if you're a fan of like the horror genre, you know.
Yeah. I adore Lovecraftian horror, actually.
How dare they?
I love Lovecraftian.
Lovecraft.
Yeah.
I've heard of his name, but in essence, I haven't really known what Cthulhu actually is. All I know is he's this huge monster, but that's about it. I don't know what type of creature he is. If you were to describe him as an earth animal that we know of now today, what do you think he'd be closest as?
Well, a fish, yeah. I think Chachu has an answer for this one, though.
Okay. So, Cthulhu is actually this great anthropomorphic god creature of the sea that came from
something like that. Like, I think...
I believe.
Yes. So imagine this huge monster with like a human-ish torso. So, legs, the whole, like, probably a six-pack. He's probably ripped. And then he has arms. And then you have a giant squid head with like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 giant tentacles dangling off of it. That's like the best way to describe Cthulhu.
Okay, so basically BoJack Horseman if he wasn't a horse. And instead... an octopus.
And huge, as in giant.
No fishes.
Yeah,
you know what?
You can put it that way, pretty much.
I haven't heard of Cthulhu, but I am familiar with a lot more, quote-unquote, dare I say, popular creatures like the Kraken, the Loch Ness monsters. Those types of things that a lot of people say that the Loch Ness monster actually existed. But, I
had a very prevalent cryptid phase when I was a kid. So Bigfoot, Nessie, even those Jersey Devils. Yeah, I would.
The Mothman.
Yeah, that one too. I always read creepypastas about them. And the thing about these and Cthulhu were my main concern when I was a kid, because I always loved food, so the first thing I would be thinking would be like, okay, with all their massive and with all their meat and their mass, wouldn't they become great sources of food to solve world hunger?
That is one way to put it. And when you think about it, it's these kinds of giant creatures that usually have regenerative abilities.
Exactly.
So, that's infinite sushi.
Wait,
Ayo?
Unlimited calamares. Exactly. That's what we
Being in the Philippines, having street food, and then asking, can I have the fried Cthulhu calamares for 1 peso?
We really gotta set boundaries, because what if these creatures are more closer to humans?
Oh, humanoids.
We have which of these creatures do we treat as food and which do we treat as friend?
That's a good point.
Companion
I mean,
and future,
they could be very intelligent. And like another feature of these giant sorts of sea creatures is that they're often way smarter than you give them credit for. Like, they can respond to different like commands. Like, if you guys remember the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Like, he responds to being called and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if I may quote one of the movies of all time, Finding Nemo. And then Bruce the shark said, "Fish are friends, not food."
That's true. And when it comes to these giant leviathans, I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that these sorts of huge, mysterious sea creatures, do you think that they could be tamed?
Like pets?
Yes.
Are you asking us?
Like pets. Imagine, oh hey, it's bring your pet to work day tomorrow.
Here, Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Here, good.
That's gonna be hard.
Good boy.
Exactly that sort of.
Imagine putting that in a bag that you just bring around like a chihuahua. But instead of a chihuahua, it would be Nessie.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, don't mind me. It's just my pet Loch Ness monster.
Alfie, you were saying?
You go to a shelter, and the first thing you say was, I want one of those, like, big, kind of scaly things to take at home.
You mean-
All my friends are having. Like,
The
that'd be
first thing
so
they say
cool.
is, oh, you mean an iguana?
Piranha?
No, bigger.
Komodo dragon?
I would like something
We have
that
just the
would
thing for you, and then they
give me
take you
revenge
to
from my enemies.
where you'll see a tank.
Oh no.
No.
It's not
That's the
bat.
thing. What if they take you to a portal?
Oh.
And speaking of portals, the most common quote-unquote underwater portal is the
That's
Bermuda
cool.
I have heard
Triangle.
of that one for sure.
Which people
Classic.
say,
I knew we were gonna
Yeah.
get to this. I knew
The
we
thing
were
is,
gonna get to this.
of course, if we're gonna talk about underwater mysteries, why not talk about the underwater mystery? Because until now, no one has, no one, according to sources, no one has ever came out of the Bermuda Triangle. Every ship or plane even that crosses past it, they say disappear, as if they're sucked into some form of underwater
that's
black
cool.
hole.
Well, since you mentioned portal, maybe it was a portal to Atlantis, and they were being accommodated for their
Yeah, and I mean, and the subject of underwater portals and such, there's this theory that's going around, considering that we had just previously talked about the vastness of space. It could also be
Right.
similar to how vast the sea is, and considering that NASA, fun fact about that, was a research facility that focused mostly on underwater stuff. They eventually transitioned into space stuff because, well, who knows? Why did they transition into space stuff? And because of that,
True.
and if you
They
consider
were like, nope.
there are similar depths to both spaces, like space and sea. And because we have so much about the sea that we have yet to discover, we can't somehow erase the possibility that there might be, because of the pressure that's under the depth of all of the sea, there could be a black hole under the sea.
Oh, that's some freaky physics.
You know what? That may be possible. And what else could there be under the sea? Because, of course, I'm pretty sure all of us have heard talks of mermaids, especially these, stories. Because, hey, it's under the sea, and most of the time, like, sailors would talk about these beautiful, majestic creatures that they see in the middle of the ocean. So we don't know. It, in a scientific point of view, of course, there's a lot of explanations for that, and one of it is the fact that they say that it might have just been a mammoth, and these sailors were just hallucinating. But
A
I'd like
mammoth?
to think.
A mammoth?
I'd like to think. Oh wait, mammoth? No,
They
those-
must have been
the ones
pretty
with
down
the
bad if they
Walruses.
hallucinated a
You mean
mammoth.
walruses?
Oh, the walrus! The walrus! Okay, well, yeah.
Because they couldn't touch
You have just-
grass.
The point
They
is-
would touch the sea.
The point is,
And they would touch, eventually, a mammoth.
Alfie, you have just
Go on.
angered a whole bunch
Wait, what?
of historians right now.
the point is, it's a lot more fun to see the imaginative side of stories. Sometimes you want to escape reality, and that's okay. If I see a mammoth in the middle of the ocean, I'm going to be so happy, okay? Whether it's a walrus or not.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so going back then to, the legendary sirens and mermaids, here's the thing. So when it comes to sirens, mermaids, those sort of fish people, there are a lot of stories that talk about them being very mischievous. The whole, oh, we're gonna get you to sink your ship because haha, we're funny like that. But here's the thing though. after the whole sinking ships thing, do you think that they eat people?
That's hard to answer.
For sure.
Because it depends on which half of them are the fish. If the lower part of them is the fish, they have the tail, the typical mermaid's Little Mermaid, it's going to be hard to imagine where the digestive system goes. But I present to you, if the top half is the fish, I feel like it's a lot possible to eat, bigger things or a human. So it's something we definitely have to consider.
You mean a reverse mermaid?
The only thing I can think about when you mentioned that the fish is from SpongeBob. I am so sorry.
That's true.
Oh no,
SpongeBob
the fish from
in the sea.
The horror.
Okay, now I'm starting to reconsider the idea of a vacation to Bikini Bottom, because that's what's waiting for me, and I might actually possibly get eaten. And I was like, okay, I'm good.
The Krabby Patty isn't actually crab. It's Soylent Green.
Oh no. Okay, that's it. That is another entire mystery.
It's human remains.
But yeah, and I mean...
we're on to something.
That's true.
Y'all think mermaids are actually as pretty
are they as ethereal as like stories make them out to be?
Exactly.
Well, a bit they could honestly be pretty ugly. Or maybe like all of them is just scale.
I mean,
right?
I bet they're mad ugly.
Imagine having a fish
that's why they're so mad at half
from SpongeBob.
Hey,
that's true.
Different beauty standards. I mean, we have.
Well, it could you also go with those Japanese kappa. I believe that's what they're called. The frog people, the drag people under the water.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we have self-driving cars. Some other sorts of mysteries don't seem to faze us anymore. But I think that's what makes it twice as fun. And that's what we do here in the Mystery Box. We relive those mysteries, those imaginations, those things that, hey, they may not actually exist. What are these mermaids? They're not true. But hey, for just a few minutes of your time, we'll be able to look back and see that, hey, you know what? Maybe they do exist.
Of course,
and that's what's
if you
fun
guys
about
still
it.
have that, drive of investigation and imagination, let us know pretty much even outside of this whole fun that we're having here, like maybe on Facebook, our Facebook, which is facebook.com/greengiantfm.
And of course, if you guys also have topics to suggest to us that you want to see us discuss, you can slide into our DMs. That's at greengiantfm on Twitter.
Or if you guys want to see your pretty little DJs, you can always check us out on Instagram. That is greengiant.fm. Do not forget that dot, people.
Or if you're a little old-fashioned and social media just isn't for you, because hey, I respect that, we do have a website, which is www.greengiantfm.com.
And if you are looking for a bit of music news and ideas, our next podcast coming up is, of course, Off the Record. So be sure to tune in for that one. But for now, this has been the Mystery Box, and we hope that you guys have an inquisitive time. Yeah, see you guys around.